You are ready? Bon weekend. So delicious cream. Okay. Now we're the transcendent wisdom, most important part. Transcendent wisdom has three aspects. Wisdom that comes through hearing. Wisdom that comes through reflection. And wisdom that comes through meditations. These three categorization of the wisdoms, and then the first one is the wisdom through hearing. This means listening to all the words and the meaning of the Dharma spoken by a spiritual teacher, and understanding the meaning of those words as they are spoken. And that is the most important. Spiritual teachers telling to us about Buddha's teaching, philosophy. And philosophy or the teachers telling to about the true truth, relative truth and absolute truth. The word of the relative truth, what does it mean? The meaning of the relative truth, word and meaning, both. When you say the relative, then we need to analyze. For instance, when you hear the relative truth, relative is temporary, momentary, impermanent, not really substantially existence. But also it is say the truth. Why Buddha he use this terminology? Relative truth. But in the beginner, general, our childish sentient beings' perspective view, relative things are looks like seemingly truth. And you say the truth, it is temporarily truth or absolutely truth. But it's very deep, very profound, very much meaning in the behind. When you say the truth, whatever you perceived, appearances, the appearances of the samsara, appearances of the nirvana, externally appearances or inner appearances, whatever existence in the relatively appearances, they are relative, momentary, uncertainty, impermanent. But it is the truth. Then you say the truth. Maybe you say it's the relative, impermanent, momentary. Then how it become the truth? It is the truth of the relative. Relatively, it is the truth. Relative point of view, relative things are really truth. Relative things are very much functionalities. Relative things are very productive. Relative things product inevitably. And that is in the relatively we call the cause and the result. And also result, it is truth. For instance, look at the 5 elements. Water, earth, fire, wind, space. When we look at the earth, earth is not really earth. Earth is compounded. Earth is produced many different substantials. Maybe earth produced by the water, wind, fire, and then it becomes some, in the perspective, it's earth. And one is the earth, result is earth. Earth is earth. You cannot say earth is water, cannot say the earth is fire. In the relatively, it is earth in our perspective. We are digging, we perceive earth as earth. But reality, the cause of the earth, may be not earth, may be some different compounded. Same as the water, same as the fire, wind. But same, for example, also the fire is, we can say it says, some different combinations is fires appear. Appear the fires, then is the truth. It can to burn and it is hot. But cause of the fire, maybe it is not fire, but some different things. Therefore, in the relatively combined, interacted, some different substantials, they are very much functionality and productive, and a product after the result is really, looks like truth. And also whatever there is kind of the combinations, inevitably, and there is a result. Result is the very much depends and the cause. And therefore, then this in the relative nature, the nature of the fire, nature of the earth, nature of the wind, are really realities. It is truth. When we touch the water, fire, and hot things hot. We touch water, we are feeling cold. Someone's bit to us, it's a pain. But they are not forever, momentary, impermanent. But it is the truth in the relatively, but absolutely it is also the truth. This kind of the relative appearances, also it is the truth, the expression of the truth. Relative truth is not different than the absolute truth. Absolute truth is not different than the relative truth. But we understood really reality of the relative truth. Absolute truth is there. Therefore, all the phenomena, everything, if we really to resume into the true truth and to analyze, and then we are not confused the word and the meanings. And it's telling to us, spoken to us, clearly, very well, the spiritual teachers. Then we have the realization, understand unmistakably the word and the meaning. That is, you can call the Dharma. Here is the more you say Dharma means, and when you are studied these phenomena and the relative and the absolute truth, the true truths, you understand what is really correct, what is not incorrect. You understand that, you understand the cause of the suffering, cause of the happiness. If you have this kind of knowledge, this kind of education, this sort of the development into your heart, also you listen, this sort of teaching is we call the Dharma. Why? Because you become the very clever, because you are like kind of the more creator of the happy, you are more destroyer of the sorrow. And therefore we call the supreme, precious, jewel, genuine, is with Dharma. This word at the kind of the, when you listen from the spiritual teacher, then you understand perfectly meaning those words and the meaning of the everything are spoken. That is the wisdom through the hearing. Second, wisdom through reflections. This means not only listen to what the teacher has taught and understanding it. Conceptually, maybe you understand word of the relative truth, absolute truth. Maybe you listen very well, you conceptually understand, but when you are like kind of the conceptually kind of understand, you just like kind of, okay, I understand that. Do you live like this? You are not really trusting. This morning we are talking about, before, when you are talking about delicious food of pizza or the momo, or some is like natto or kachapuri something. You understand how to make. Maybe you understand kind of it is delicious. But you don't eat it, then you don't know really actually the meaning of that. And therefore, whatever you are listening about the relative truth, absolute truths, spoken by your spiritual friend, told you, you understand in your conceptually, but you are not really pick up into your mind. And then it's like not kind of living there. You really kind of subsequently reviewing it in your mind and clearly establishing the meaning through reflection, examination, and analysis, and asking questions about what you do not understand. That's right. Teacher told you about the relative truth, absolute truth. And you are maybe it's like good explanation, you good listened, you conceptually understand. Maybe you are not much really to like kind of the pick up, not review, subsequently not review. We need subsequently review again and again. The meaning of the what you spiritual teacher told you, we need to reflect on, comprehension, examination. How about relative truth? How about absolute truth? Different or same? Or what do you mean? This everything. And analysis. If there is something error, do not understand, ask to the spiritual friend about you don't understand things. If you not understand, then is you confused. You haven't got much wisdom through the listen. Then is the wisdom through the reflections never become the clearly. Before you are like a wisdom through the listen. Whatever you do not understand, we should ask again and again to clarify it, to clean up all your doubts. Then it's really to experience, like when you made pizza or you made delicious tea, you really drink how it is. Then it is your mind is really to experience this test. Really again and again and again, subsequently reviews. That is we call the wisdom through reflections. Reflection, examination, analysis. It's wonderful. Then finally you understand same understanding of your teachers about relative truth, absolute truths. You really tested into your minds. It is not enough just to suppose that you know or understand some particularly subject. Suppose. That's the main point. Probably I understand. I suppose I understand. But you are not really trusting, not reflecting on it. Then you cannot test. Therefore, you cannot to be lazy. And also it's like kind of some piece, some as like a little bit you understand, you kind of to be satisfied. And that's enough, I understand. But maybe you are conceptually understand, but you are not really actually not tested. When you make the feel, you understand some agriculture or the green things. You made the nice field to put it under their seed. But then you understand the seed is surely to grow up. But you're not really to taking care how it is to grow up, how I need to taking care. Maybe then result is the consequence not very good. Therefore, you made seed on the field, then you need to look after, then later you can to see direct, it can in the autumn manifested for you. During the harvest, you have understood great harvest. Like this. You should make absolute sure that when the time comes to practice in solitude, you will be able to manage in your own without needing to ask anyone clarify certain points. Absolutely, it is the truth. When you develop your wisdom through the listen very carefully, and sometimes you develop the wisdom through the reflections. Everything is about the relative truth, absolute truth. Not only the understand the conceptually, you test it really how it is. And then you go into the solitude place, like kind of that moment, your development of wisdom through the listen, development wisdom through the reflection is finished. That time coming, you need to develop through the wisdom through the meditations, cultivate. At that time, to able to manage what you studied, do not need any ask someone. I don't understand. I didn't clarify it. When I kind of developing wisdom through the reflection, wisdom through the reflections. Now I haven't got understand. I have not clearly in my mind. Then you need to run round. It's too late. Then your meditation in the solitude place, you become more busy. Therefore, clarify everything certain point. One is like you are developing that first two true wisdoms through the listen, through the reflections about the relative truth, absolute truth. True truth is any kind of perspective, resume of all the teachings, sutta, thanta, any kind of the sutta perspective, Mahamudras, great perfections. Everything is like kind of the true truth. You understand the true truth, understand everything. If you don't understand the nature, reality, absolute, the true truth, then even if one is miss, then other one is very difficult to understand. That is the reality, vata of the phenomena. Wisdom through meditations. Through meditation, as you gain a practical experience of what you have understood intellectually, that is the wonderful. Understood intellectually. Intellectually you experienced a little bit, reflection it, but not really maturated, not really there is fully ripened. Then you need third steps, wisdom through the meditations. The true realization of the natural state developed in you without any mistakes. That is the point. Natural state. Natural state of the relative truth or absolute truth. The truth of the great unification of the true truth. This state you need to develop in your mind through any mistakes. No mistake. First times conceptually, you understand perfectly. There's no doubt, no clearly. no unclearly. Everything is clearly. Everything is you are clarified. All your doubt. You understood perfectly conceptually. And also like you are reflecting on it. Analysis on it. Examining on it. Then now it's like you need to actually realizations. Really to maturation of the in your mind. Maybe may you think how it is the maturations. We need maturations. Like when you are studies alphabet. First someone's showing to say A, B, C, D. And maybe in the understood conceptually, you understood 26 or like kind of 4 vowels and alphabets. But not really, not familiars. And still you are reading, writing, spelling, everything's not very good. Then actually you are training yourself. Reveal again and again to experience again. And certainly your realization, then you can read, write, spell, everything is coming into your mind. This is the maturation to development. Beginning I can to read A, B, C, D. Now more than that. Then it's slowly you can read, write. It's familiarities. That means manifested into your this language. Exactly, you understand. He is talking about the meaning of your true nature of the realities. Your really fundamental of your nature reality of your body, speech, mind, and the nature reality of the phenomena. Externally appearances, existent or not existence, they are existent or not existence is not really important. We are anyway is like externally appearances, maybe very much confusions. But we maybe is most important is inner appearances of our body, speech, mind, how it is. This inner according to the body, speech, mind and the relative body, speech, mind, how it is the relative absolute body, speech, mind on it. In the relative body, speech, mind, in doubt, with this the absolute body, speech, mind. Absolute body, speech, mind it will be called the true nature reality of the body, speech, mind. It is the birthless, deathless. If you realize that, you are the enlightenment. How I can realize it. That is the main point here. Teachers told you your relative body, speech, mind in the relatively like this, absolutely like this. Buddha he discovered like this. And spiritual teachers, I realized it like this. In the scripture say like this. If you do like this, you can realize your own Buddha nature, your own nature of the body, speech, mind. Then this one is through the wisdom of the listen, through the wisdom of reflections, you need to understand intellectually, fantastically. Then you experience again and again through the wisdom meditations, then actually manifested into your mind. Absolutely. There is a little bit kind of the durations. Of course, that is anything. There's some is meditations, wisdom through meditation is going very well. Then it's a certainty is born from the within your mind. This is the really my true nature of the realities. Body, speech, mind is like this. Untalkable, unexpressible, undescribable, arise. This is like kind of the realization sun is shining into your minds, liberated from confining doubts and hesitations. Existence or no existence really is like how it is, everything's clearly coming into our minds. Confining doubts, like kind of the rope, or do not understanding things, have such doubts, hesitations, naturally clarified. You see the very face of your own natural state of the body, speech, minds. And that moment we call the great enjoyment. First Bhumi. Third path, the path of the seeings. This sort of occurring into your mind. Wow, it's the wonderful. Then it's like kind of the linked between birth and death, and understood the great equanimity of the samsara nirvanas. No differentiate of the sorrow and happy. One-pointedness, single taste, universal, and arise into your minds. That is, we need to occur into our minds. Having first eliminate all your doubts through the hearing wisdoms, and also through the wisdom of the reflections, you come to the particularly experienced meditations. And particularly afterward, you receive the pit instructions, how to meditate on it, how it is the feature of my body, speech, minds. And your feature of the body, speech, minds is a representative of all the phenomena. Guru Rinpoche said, some single point you understand, your misunderstanding of all the phenomena liberated. Maybe you do not understand the single pointed, maybe you understand all many phenomena, but you are not liberated. Therefore, your own body, speech, minds, the natural realities, you understand, you have this experience, then you understand everything. Therefore, your body, speech, minds, the natural realities, you can't learn through the hearing, through the reflection, examine, analysis. Then in the particularly experience, in the solitude place, you are meditate on it. And that time is how it is happened. Wonderful things in your realization to understand. And see everything as 80 forms without any substantiality, as in 8 similar of illusion. That is our relative things are like this. These 8 similar of the illusions. This externally all the substantialities are exactly the same as the 8 similar of the illusions. For instance, as in the dreams, this is the first similar of the illusion, dream. In the external objects perceived with the 5 senses are not there, but appear through delusions. Through the delusion, the deluded mind is perspective. When we be in the dream world, there are such a kind of the object. Subject perceived, the 5 senses appearances in the dream words. Here the five senses, like form, sound, smell, taste, all these five senses are also in the dreams you can to have, but appear through your diluted minds. The reality, there's nothing substantially existence. Dream as the dream. And also this dreams is like dream, but in the relative whatever during the day we see, they are the same as the dream appearing through the delusions. And second, similar of the illusions, as in a magic shows, things are made to appear by a temporary conjunctions of cause, circumstance, and connections. This magic shows, magic illusions. Magic show things sometimes appears many different things. When we look in the televisions, someone's like white curtains transform into the birds, and first transform into the egg, then is a birds. Someone's cutting the bodies, and you can to show magic showing many different things. This is like kind of different combination, conjunctions, different cause, like kind of different circumstances, connections, some substantial connections. You can to make kind of the magic showing. But they are absolutely nothing existence. They are like kind of appear through the illusion. And third one is as in the visual aberrations. Sometimes mirage. Things appear to be there, yet there is nothing. Mirage or visual as aberration. Visual aberration sometimes in the hot weather, or any kind of sometimes when you have the sickness, liver, some in the stomach, and your eyes dirty, and then you perceive something, aberrations, not mirage, aberrations, hallucinations, aberration, like kind of the fly birds or some animals or something you can to see it, but it's not outside. You're just kind of the sick your body, then you have some in the eyes. That is hallucination or visual aberrations. And all the relative or this external phenomena, just in the appearance through the delusions perspective, they are like this, but not substantially existence. Then in a mirage, things appear, but they're not real, absolutely. Hot weather, you see in the desert, there are like kind of something animals, or the water. Many animals, wild animals, they confuse it. Mirage and waters, but not there. All these appearances are like this mirage. And fourth, in the echoes, things can be perceived, but there is nothing there, either outside or inside. Its echo is echo. It's not existence. Echoes comes from in or outside. And everything is in the relative sound is like echo. And then is like next one is on the city of the Gandharvas, Smith-eater. There is neither a dwelling nor anyone to dwell. And reality is like some supporter of some continent, or someone is living inside. There's nothing. Kind of deluded perspective. There the Gandharva city is one moment is coming, one moment is disappeared. Like this, all the phenomena, like Gandharva city of the Gandharva, Smith-eater. In a reflection, things appear, but have no real reality of their own. Like a kind of the reflection on the mirror. For example, wild animals, lion, leopard, elephant, when they look in the mirror, they perceive same as themselves, how much they're angry. Exactly like this, whatever we perceive externally, it is like kind of diluted illusion perspective. There's nothing like reflections. No reality of their own, nothing. And then is next one, the city is created by the magic illusions. Someone's like this kind of created, looks like there's a huge city. There are sort of the appearances, but there are no realities, not really, there nothing, not one single house, but there's kind of the magicians can to make hallucination for in front of our eyes. You can to see some great city, but there's no existence. Like exactly the same in the relative things. Seeing all the object of your perceptions in this way, these 8 similar illusions, you come to understand that all these appearances are thoughts by their very natures. Appearances, they are relative thoughts. There's nothing substantially existence. Obviously, if we are really reflect on it, examine on it, analysis on it, the nature of these appearances are the thoughts, illusion, like same as these 8 similar illusions. When you look into the nature of the subject that perceive them, the mind. Now is the wonderful. The mind is understood external appearances, thoughts, like echo, mirage, magic city, nothing substantially existence. They are like 8 similar illusions. But then, perceiver, mind itself, how it is. The mind. Those objects that appear to it do not stop appearing, but the concepts that take them as having any true existence subsides. The perceiver of the mind, those objects the appearances. Do not need to stop appearances. It's very wonderful if we understood. Most we, if I'm realized that nature of realities, surely this current my appearances disappeared. Then I have some very special appearances. That is a stupid way. Here it said, do not stop appearances. Those objects, whatever you have appearances of these five senses, form, smell, sound, taste, all these objects. You don't need pure, impure, dirty, undirty. Whatever your appearances, you don't need to demolish them. They are continue appearing. But, very wonderful, this now negative word, but, is wonderful. But then what? My objects that appear to it do not stop appearing. I'm expecting some new appearances appear. No, not. Then concepts that take them as having any true existence subsides. But you understand these appearances. You perceive the appearances of the purity, impure, samsara, nirvana, happy, sorrow. All of them is your realization, your mind is true existence subsides. There's nothing kind of the existence. Whatever you have appearances, there are like kind of the 8 similar illusions. There's nothing kind of you need to holding, but no need to stop the appearances. To leave the mind in the realization of the nature of the realities, to leave the mind in the realization of the nature of the realities. Nature reality is the nature of body, speech, mind. That is the empty, yet clearly like the skies. Empty, yet clearly. All those appearances are very clearly. Like skies, sky is absolutely not substantially existence. It is empty, but it is clearly all the appearances universal can appear. Sun and moon, cloud, star, universals, everything is there. But those are the not different sky. Sky is not different than. Like this, when you look at the external object of the 5 senses, receiver of the 5 faculties, or the sense of the organs, all of them are same as the realities. You don't need to stop appearing, diminish, or destroy it. They are like kind of continuously appearing, but you have the realization of the no existence of the nature of realities. That is the transcendent of the wisdom. We need to absolutely analyze more and more. Okay, we can to stop 15 minutes.